trauma, it's just a distant memory. One day, 2 years from now, I'll forget this even happened. Everything that's ever gone wrong with people, I've moved on from and carried on living and been fine. You just have to remember, no matter how other people treat you, you will be okay. You have always been okay. It will be fine. And that way, when you have a relationship, you won't try and read their text messages and control who they spend time with. You will just trust them and let them go do the thing. And if they fuck you over, then fine, I will move on. I'll be okay. You know, I've done breakups before. It won't be the end of the world. I'm not going to obsess over it. And one of the reasons why you take that approach is because what you fear, you attract. So if you fear getting cheated on, you will absolutely get cheated on. Absolutely. Because the kinds of people who treat their partner like a cheater will get cheated on. Because if someone sat there and they're like, well, I'm having my messages read, I'm having my privacy breached, you're being controlling, you're acting betrayed and hurt, you're jumping to conclusions, you're reading into things, I might as well be getting laid. If I'm going to get treated like a cheater either way, I might as well be getting laid. And so when you are protecting yourself from cheating, you often encourage your partner to cheat. TK, thank you so much. And so people who fear most getting cheated on get cheated on like 7 times in the last 7 relationships. It's so fucking tragic. So fucking tragic. What you fear, you attract. And I could say this for spiders because my mom was scared of spiders when I wasn't growing up, and she always used to make me put the cup over them and take them outside. And we lived in the same house for most of my life, and she would always find them. I'd never even know they were there because I'm not scanning the room for them. I'm not checking every space for them. Like my mom would like tip out her shoes before she'd put them on because she was terrified that there'd be a spider in there. These sorts of things. And she was finding loads of spiders. She was absolutely traumatized by them all the time and running away from them and just having big dramas. And I wasn't. And I never found a soul. I was actually really interested in them. Whenever she found a spider, I'd be like, oh, where? And I'd have a look at it and under the glass. And I'd be like, wow, it's this species. And look at its chubby little legs. She'd be like, yeah, give it out. I rarely ever got to see them because I wasn't scared of them. What you fear, you attract.
I tried to journey just.
So when you're dealing with trust issues, I think it's when you just sit there and you're scared that someone will betray you and you don't know whether they're going to betray you or not, and you don't know whether you're being paranoid or if this is a gut feeling that you should listen to. I feel like you should weigh it up and just be like, so what if they can't keep a secret? Is it going to be the end of the world? Just don't tell them secrets then. You can still invite Bill out for lunch. Bill can still come to the birthday party. Bill can still come on the holiday. We can still hang out with Bill. I just won't tell him about the pile cream I've got in my fucking like bedroom cabinet. That's fine. Like, you don't have to trust people with everything in order to love and enjoy them.
Yeah. She speaks the truth.
And when it comes to relationships, you can say, hey, I have trust issues. Sometimes I'm just going to get nervous. But I love you and I know it's not your fault. And then just never control them. Like, instead of saying, hey, give me your phone, just be like, I'm having anxiety. I'm having cheating anxiety. I'm having betrayal anxiety right now. And just describe the feeling to them and go, I don't want to do anything about it, but I'm getting these urges. And I know it comes from trauma and not you. I'm just going through it right now. And it's not your fault. It's nothing you've done. I'm just suffering with my wound. And even just being able to say that out loud will help you to take responsibility and own the feeling. And that can do so much for like progressing past the obsessive behavior. Yeah, good comms. And the truth of the matter is, what if she does go to the club and she cheats? Then she should do that as soon as possible. You should let her go to the club. Because if that was a risk, if all it would take is for her to be in a room with other men, you need to know that now, before you have kids with her, before you marry her, so you can leave early. You need to adopt the let them theory when it comes to trust issues, which is if they do the bad thing, let them, so I can leave. If you micromanage them, it doesn't mean they aren't that person. It just means that you have to spend the rest of your life micromanaging and holding them back because deep down they want to hurt you. And really what you should be looking for is someone who just doesn't want to hurt you because they exist. Most people who are in love with someone aren't going, I can't wait to cheat on you. I can't wait to ruin your life. I can't wait to spill all your secrets. I can't wait to fuck you over, get you fired from your job, whatever, right? And so if you end up with someone like that, you should find out early so they only do one bit of damage before you go. You need to let them. And so the person that's the love of your life should be able to go to the club
Yeah.
freely, and you just know that they're not going to fuck you over, right? That you should be able to have a partner with friends, both male and female, and just know that you don't need to keep running check and look reading all their messages to know that you're fine, you're safe. You need to just let them. Because the people who want to screw you over are actually rarer than it seems. Your memory doesn't paint it that way, but people who want to fuck you over are rare. Okay? So it's not like the likelihood is you're going to get fucked over. It just feels that way. Trust yourself. Doesn't matter whether you get fucked over. You'll be fine. You've been fucked over. You are fine. So yeah, I think the first step is if you are struggling to trust others, learn to trust yourself. And whilst you connect with others and you're still relearning how to trust, you don't have to trust people with everything. You know, most people who can't be trusted to be there on time, maybe they shouldn't be your emergency contact. Maybe they're not the best person to drive to the hospital in the middle of the night if you need them. Okay, maybe the tardy person isn't the right person for that. Maybe pick somebody who is always on time. But maybe the person who's always on time isn't good with a secret and can't keep a secret to themselves. Okay, just don't spill your guts. They're not the overshare friend. Don't invite them over after breakup and tell them every gory detail of what went wrong. No, leave them out of that one. Invite them to a birthday party instead. Hang out with them at the pub instead. Take them axe throwing. But don't trauma dump them. And so just because you're scared to trust doesn't mean that you can't trust in little bites. You can trust people with what they're good at being trusted with. And that's most people, to be honest. Most people are not good at all the different kinds of trust. They're good at one or two. And so you can practice trust and rely on people based on their skill set instead of your ability to decipher a good person from a bad, because no one's a good person. No one's really a bad person either. But they don't exist. Good and bad people don't exist. Even the worst person you know does nice things sometimes. Even the best person you know does something fucked up. Yeah. So, like, when you're looking for purely good people who could be trusted with everything or else, you're not even that person. Shut the fuck up. You can't even bring that to the table. Don't give me that shit. I have been fucked over and I have been the bad guy in a relationship. Anita is 100% right. Well, there you go. That's my overview of trust issues. And it is hard and it doesn't get easier. I'm just going to say, when you get betrayed, someone just turns up the dial on like the difficulty setting for the rest of your life. Because everything becomes harder. Once you've been betrayed and the rug gets pulled out from under you, friendships, work relationships, partnerships, interacting with your family, all of it gets exponentially harder from there. It's a wound that keeps on fucking bleeding. But when you attribute the pain to the right places, it doesn't have to negatively impact anybody else. And over time, it gets easier to handle. Even though it's still challenging, it gets easier to handle that little voice that gets scared of everything.
Perfect wildflower. First time glaze. Glaze. Caramel glaze.
If you get betrayed, it's on you. You had expectations on flawed people, even if they're blood. I kind of feel like
People.
I find it very easy
Welcome.
to not betray people. I don't think we should blame victims of betrayal because I feel like I find it easy not to betray people. I feel like I have friends that I've fallen out with, or maybe I don't talk to anymore, and they've told me really personal shit, and I still don't leak it to this day because even if I don't get on with them, they still deserve privacy, right? I feel like you can do the right thing even when it's hard, but most of the time it's very fucking easy, right? Also, I just don't want to be the kind of person that people regret trusting, no matter how things go.
Truth.
So when I say all that, like, I feel like you are responsible for fucking people's lives up. You absolutely are. You should apologize. You should make amends as much as possible, and you're not owed forgiveness. You are going to fuck up sometimes. You're going to accidentally hurt people. Even when you don't want to, you're going to hurt people. So I feel like you are responsible for that. You alone, not the people who decided to gamble trusting you. It's never their fault. Never. I don't think if you get betrayed, it's on you. I think it's on the person who decided actively to fuck you over. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
100%. And I think, like, that's because I raised myself like a child. And if a child went to school and, I don't know, somebody offered them a glass of water, and when they went to take it, they just splashed it in their face. And like, I thought I was gonna get a glass of water, but they were being mean to me. I wouldn't be like, that's on you. That's on you for trusting them with the water. I would never say that to a kid. Like, well, you should just never trust anybody. That's on you. That would really fuck up the kid,
What?
right? So it would fuck me up if I was like, that's on me. I shouldn't have trusted anybody. People are flawed. I'm responsible for
She,
all the damage and malicious decisions anyone makes towards me.
she threw
It's
the
my
water.
bad for thinking they wouldn't. That would mess me up. That would not be it. I could not stay mentally sound in that
That's a
headspace
true
ever.
story, right? I get paid tonight. Then I'm getting my Xbox ordered
But yeah, I
tonight.
won't be telling myself that. I won't be like, oh, that douchebag cheated on me. That's on me, I shouldn't have believed that people could be loyal in a relationship. That's on me. No, I'm not gonna think like that. Who fucking thinks like that? I'd never talk to anyone else like that. If someone came crying to me that they'd been betrayed, I wouldn't be like, that's on you. You should have known.
That's it. That's it. Brighten up. I don't know pressure. No pressure. That's right. Smile. A beautiful smile.
Yeah, I think as well because we really encourage people to internalize things that aren't their fault, like rape victims, for example. They're like, "What are you wearing? Well, what did you expect when you were wearing that?" All that sort of stuff. Like, I watch people victim blame way too much to be adopting ideas like that.
Mm. Yeah, that's fucked up too. Put some music
When should we learn that we can get
on.
scammed?
I'm on every
I feel like it could totally be an educational thing that is taught in increments. So, like, at primary school, you could teach them, say, about cheating in a board game and, like, teach the kids to spot the person who's cheating
something's going on.
so that they don't assume that everyone's cheating, but they get really good at identifying when something isn't fair or when someone has a vested interest. And it would be really risky to trust them because they would benefit very much from deceiving everyone right now. Like spotting something like that young, like I think that might be a good trait to teach in a board game at first. So the idea is there. And then maybe in middle school, actually teach about specific examples that apply today, right? Maybe not old things like fucking like posted lottery
Oh,
scams because they're not as big of a problem. But like teach them about like real world scams and stuff a little bit in like middle school age. And then at university, maybe give them like a bit of a bigger course on it with tells and psychology. And I think that would be the best way to prep people and protect them. Because we do that with sex education. We teach kids like super basics in primary school, then we teach them again in like middle school, and then again in upper school. You just get like an ever increasing amount of detail
Who is stream? Who is that?
as you're old enough to take it in. That's true. It takes years and each year adds more layers to the topic. Exactly. I mean, what do you guys think? Sex education. When do you think that should be taught to kids? Because like I figured out like in advance before I had the talk, before the school started teaching me, like I figured it out in advance because like I saw penguins do it on like the Discovery Channel. I was like, oh,
I watched it on my parents. Well,
that's how the egg gets fertilized.
you start to ask questions.
Like 12, 13 maybe. I figured it out like age 3 or 4, whatever age you're in when you're like in nursery school. I was being walked to nursery school. So that was like attached to my primary school. we were walking. There was like loads of flower blossoms on the trees. I was annoying my mom because I kept picking up the best ones and giving them to her, and there was like thousands of them on the street. She was like, "Oh, thanks," and then just like dropping it on the floor when I looked away. And it didn't fuck me up or make me sexually curious about other children to know, how reproduction worked.
No. Well, it's right around the time you
Lol, anything under
start
18 is
puberty.
way too young. Really? But like people, I think there's a difference between understanding sex and wanting sex. So I don't understand the risk. I think it just protects kids from pedophiles. Because like,
Yeah,
if you really think about it, when we were kids, we
kids,
saw people kiss and it was fucking gross.
boys
It's
get
fucking
erections,
disgusting. I
women's
remember
get
seeing
girls
like
have
parents kiss or
periods.
like adults around
Yeah,
kiss, and I was like, the fuck are you doing? That's so gross.
yeah.
Because without any of the like hormones behind it, or everything to do with sex is just like really icky and like unappealing. Like something physiologically happens to you when you get sex hormones, where your level of disgust goes down. So you're able to do the things it takes to have sex. Like being horny
You
reduces your
try to
disgust
masturbate.
levels. But if you didn't have all of these hormones influencing your behavior, you would find we'd all be asexual. The thought of sex would be disgraceful, disgusting even. So I don't really understand the
Ouch.
harm in teaching kids
It's
and
terrible.
how it works and what it's for and how people are made. Like, you don't have to sexualize kids or show them porn to
No,
explain how these things happen. It didn't really put me in any danger or anything to know. And like, I figured it out. I explained it to my mom. I was like,
you're
I know how
looking
babies
at
are made.
Dash, man.
And she was like, how? She was like, I was like, the
Women,
male
women
gets on top of the
toys,
mommy
men
and
are.
fertilizes her. And like, when he fertilizes the egg inside her tummy, it hatches and then it comes out of her bum. I said out of her bum because I didn't have a word for vagina yet, you
Mm.
know? And she was like, yeah, that's pretty much it. And it did me like zero harm to know that. Like none.
Pop drops it down the chimney.
Did not traumatize or impact me at all.
A stock.
I'm sticking to it. If they're ready to ask the question, they're ready to get some level of an answer. I think that's a good policy. Absolutely.
Jesus Christ, gasp. Oh, forget it. 43 others added me to groups. The lovely Anita.
Sex could be thought early, could be taught early, but it requires to people. It more that masturbation should not be taught. I did not know that stroking my peen would give effect until 16. I
Wet
don't
dreams.
know that not teaching kids what masturbation is actually has a positive impact either, if I'm honest with you, because something that really commonly happens with young girls is they discover masturbation before they know what it is, and they do it in public as children because they have no idea what it means or what is happening to their body. So, things like doing things on rocking chairs and stuff like that. And then their kids are like, my kid hyperventilates
Shower
and
head.
gets really sweaty and I don't know what's happening to her and she just starts rocking back and forth and I think there might be something wrong with her. And like then their parents are told, oh yeah, she's learned what masturbation is. You kind of need to teach her about privacy and what that is and that we don't do that in front of people. So I do think that, people discovering masturbation before the word for masturbation is probably worse than discovering what masturbation is before they ever masturbate.
I don't know, that was when I said masturbate. So I had to get the stuff to masturbate to. And I suppose I had access to the internet, but I never really thought about that. I don't know. 11? Just started high school.
And the thing is, like, I do think that expecting every single parent from every single background to ubiquitously do this well is dumb. And I think that's why it should be standardized based on evidence at schools, because people have some stupid beliefs and you could really stunt or endanger your child by not giving them the facts at the right time.
Mm.
So I think that, yeah, people should learn about these things before they start doing them and before they start developing it and doing them. And one of the reasons is because if you understand why somebody is trying to get you to take your clothes off, in private, for example, as a kid, then you can protect yourself. If you know what that person is and what they're trying to do to you, you can tell an adult, right? But if you have no idea what's happening or if it's good or bad, that puts you in such a vulnerable position as well.
I can get comments on
So like I feel like personally, I'm not afraid of children understanding something before they ever do it. I just think that not sexualizing it in like sex education obviously is talking about organs and stuff, but nobody's trying to turn each other on. Like when you talk about sex education, you're not seducing someone, you're not exciting someone. I feel like there's a difference between doing something sexy and explaining something sexual. And I think some people meld the two together in their head as just anything sexual is inappropriate and is only for adults
sexual.
and is just like this whole context is shameful and awkward and we should be really dramatic and shameful and awkward about it.
Training on the job.
And when you do that, you actually fuck up your kids more. Like I know people who weren't allowed to understand anything about sex and were never given the talk and were never given an opportunity to even Google it or whatever. And they find out age 21 that women have nipples.
4-year-old. Oh god, yeah.
And it really fucks them up sexually and they were kind of weird.
The nip slip. The nip slip.
Thank you. It messed me up so much. Yeah, I think it does. I think it does mess people up when you do that to them.
Late bloomers.
A lot more harm than good for sure. And I even think that the sex education we get now in schools could be improved. Like, for example, they didn't tell any of us girls, they described the penis and how the penis gets pleasure. And they said to boys, like, if you want to look at images of women, that's completely natural. They specifically said women, which is also a bit biased. But if you're curious about women's bodies and you want to look at them and it makes you feel a little tingly and you want to explore that, that's completely normal and natural. And most men do that. They said that. They basically said, if you want to watch porn, it's okay. They did not give any of them a disclaimer that the porn industry is really predatory and they didn't teach them about the Coolidge effect and post-nut clarity and how you can end up being funneled towards content that you would have never willingly looked at on your own and how you could get porn addiction and stuff like that. So maybe if you are consuming porn, maybe stick to stuff that isn't addictive and maybe don't look for ever increasingly explicit stuff because there are people whose lives that has ruined. So like have in your head like what you find morally acceptable and just stick to that genre and don't go any further and don't let these algorithms
two girls,
you
one cup
towards like pedophilia and shit. Right? None of that warning was ever given. It was just like, hey, if you want to watch porn, that's fine.
Weird stuff.
To a bunch of boys. They never spoke to us about masturbation, us girls. They never told us how masturbation works for us. They never said if we wanted to look at and are curious about men's bodies, that's fine. We were never told that at all. It was specifically addressed to the boys in the room, and then no masturbation or self-pleasure or arousal discussion was ever made about women, right? And so like boys were essentially taught, this is how masturbation works, and this is something stimulating to get you going. Women were not. Women were not. And I feel like that did have an impact on me because like I didn't really figure out masturbation until very, very late for a human being on the average time scale.
Weird.
And I think part of it was like nobody really tells you where the clitoris is or that you have 3 holes down there. Like
you need to stimulate the clit.
The vagina opening, the pee tube,
the urethra.
And something else.
Oh
wait, is that the
urethra?
Bud? Wait, why is there 3 holes? Now I need to remember everything.
Vagina.
I literally have this. You have the urethra.
Yeah.
You have the vagina and the butt. Yeah, I guess. So you have 3 holes down there. A lot of people do not know that I have 3 holes down there. A lot of people think they piss from their vagina.
Oh, really?
Also, the clitoral structure is a massive, like, it's a huge deep thing that goes under the skin, and it comes back under the skin and has 2 inflated bulbs either side of the opening. And the clitoris is the only, that tiny nub is like not even 1% of the clitoral structure. Nobody teaches you that. And that, you know, you don't just flick the bean. That's not the only way to stimulate the clitoris, for example, and things like this. Most women have no idea what they have downstairs. No idea. None. And we're not told.
Let them run the hands through.
We have to find out for ourselves. A lot of us are not taught about fucking menopause and how your flaps disappear during menopause. That flaps are just a sign of fertility. They grow when you get your hormones in, and they shrink away when your hormones leave.
What's going on now?
Where did they go? Well, I listened to an old lady and I came away from that discussion like thinking that they just fell off. But I was wrong. Apparently they just shrink away. They just shrivel and go and disappear.
They disappear.
What? They disappear? For real? Yeah. Your labia are a sign
Yeah,
of fertility.
Yeah.
When,
tidy
so when you lose the
tidy
hormones,
tasty
you lose the labia. They retire. Yeah, they retire at retirement age, funnily enough. Your flaps retire. We weren't told that. And we weren't told that you grow flaps either. I was so fucking confused. I went to a doctor.
Did it?
When I was a little kid and my flaps grew in, like, I was like, there are extra folds here that weren't here before. There were 2. Now there are 4.
With girls, though.
What is happening?
I mean, guys get
You
bigger.
grow them? Yes, you do.
So I'd say, yeah. I'd say guys get bigger. They grow. Dicks grow bigger. Per bit.
I did not know this. Yes, it scared the fuck out of me. No one had the talk. I literally thought, is this what a fungal infection is? Because I thought they were bracket fungi. You know, like on a tree, when you get bracket fungi that grow off the tree? I was like, is that what's happening to me? Is this a condition? And I went to the doctor. I was like, Mom, I need to go to the doctor. I don't want to discuss why. And I went to the doctor. We were alone. I explained the situation. They looked and they went, this is completely normal. What did you think was wrong? I was like, oh.
No. Natural, man. It's all natural. It's all natural. You get a.
So I thought I was like a living mushroom farm.
What's the?
Turns out, no, that's just womanhood.
What's the?
And like us, a very brief discussion. I had already received sex ed twice at this point in my life from schools. At no point did anyone tell you, yeah, you're gonna grow some extra parts. They told me I would grow titties. They told me my thighs and my waist and stuff would change shape. They told me all of that. I literally watched someone give birth. I saw someone come out of a vagina before I learned that I would get labia. You don't really see the labia when like the whole thing is stretched around a baby because everything is stretched so far around the head that it's just like a blur. You don't really see the labia. That did not give me a clue just yet. So yeah, I feel like that was very traumatic to work up the courage to explain what was going on. I was very, very embarrassed to explain that I needed to go to a doctor about something to do with my lady parts, right? That I was so worried. It took so much pressure to work up the courage to even mention it to my mom, let alone go to the doctor. Yeah, let alone show them my bits. And all of that could have been avoided if I'd have been told even what the fuck a labia is.
Women's lives are tough with the vagina, you know, get inspected and you gotta go.
So like I'm gonna say it, like I've been passionate ever since
pregnant.
I can't even remember when about sex education. Not because I'm like a horny bitch trying to horny people up, but literally because I think that this is really important, life-changing information, and it's protective too in so many ways. When you don't teach a kid how to get pregnant, they get pregnant. That's the paradox. People get curious about each other's bodies. Some kid watches porn, tries to emulate it with the other kids who have no idea what's going on, and you get 13-year-olds and 10-year-olds who are knocked up, okay? When you take away sex education, teenage pregnancy soars, and you can't disillusion people either. They tell each other shit like, if it's your first time, you can't get pregnant. If you have sex in a hot tub or a bath, all of it washes out so you don't get pregnant. Things like this. And kids believe it because they're fucking stupid.
It's a cavity.
Because they're kids. They're operating with like 1/3 of a brain. So yeah, people should learn about sex education. And it should go into way more detail than women get. Women get less sex education than they deserve. But Person, thank you so much for the prime. What was I saying earlier about you get what you fear? Bitch, you do, because people who fear teen pregnancy and don't teach their kids about sex get grandkids early. Very super early grandkids.
Just a generation, man. World's gone backwards.
You're like 45 and already a grandma. That's on you. You were supposed to tell them how not to do that.
One time phone. That's pretty good. Alright. Oh,
I got sexual education in school, but my religious mother told me all of that was a lie. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Bitch. But it is treats o'clock. I did treats o'clock early today. I can't give them more treats because I didn't know that I didn't know what I'd be doing by this hour. So they've already had their treats.
I thought you were at the tournament. The tawny. I might have been earlier in the day.
How fucking dare. Fuck you. Okay, I'm not gonna make them fat just for you people. Okay? They're already fat. You know, I'll get in trouble with the vet.
Little buns. Fat. Roundness.
I was promised rabbit enlargement.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, that's my personal take on fucking sex education. I don't know if you're interested in that at all, but I think we should be teaching the kids.
Wasn't there a dildo called the rabbit? You know when they did the clitoris stimulator thing? That was called a rabbit, right? First one. I remember there'd been all the rage when I was in high school. Oh, girls one.
Did you have to bond your bunnies? I had to bond Halva and Oscar, but so I have bonded bunnies before. Pete will never get bonded with anyone because he has murderous rage and he tries to kill any rabbit that he meets. He ripped open a rabbit's throat and she had to have multiple surgeries to save her life. And I have not tried to bond him with anyone since because I don't want to risk. I care about my bunnies. I don't want any of them having their throat slit. So some rabbits are just like that, and they can only have human friends.
Rabbits.
Sometimes they're good with cats, but I don't really have enough time to take care of a cat on top of all the animals that I'm taking care of right now. So people just have me, and he pesters me for love and attention, and he runs rings around me. And that's their version of saying I love you. So I run rings around him too, and he really enjoys that. And he sits there and he watches, and he like pulls his face as he watches me run around him. So like it's good if you have an animal to love them in their own language. If you have a cat, eat with them. And by that, I mean, like, if you're eating, they want to share a meal with you because that's how they bond with the other cats in the colony. So, like, if you serve them food, put it in a dish on the table next to you when you eat. So you're eating together. Or, like, you know, sit on the floor and have their bowl beside you whilst you eat and watch TV or whatever. And they will fucking love it. There are videos of people eating with their cats, and you can see they're absolutely touched by this behavior because you're loving them in their language. I slow blink back at my cat. That's adorable. I feel like that's a good way to make friends with cats as well as the slow blink, and also to know that if you stare directly into their eyes and stare at their face, they will become intimidated because that's aggressive behavior in their language. So not too much eye contact.
Sorry about that.
If I can ask, what made you stick to streaming? Did you believe that you had something? I'm asking because I want to do it. I did once for a little while. Bitch, just a bit. Friends and family watched. One friend told me, I don't talk much. You're not funny. You're not like Aiden Ross. But not now, a few years after, I have seen that and read that consistency is maybe like 50 to 60%. Do you see that? Okay, I will say that if you don't talk much and you're not really being entertaining, you don't have to be funny. Not every great streamer is funny, but like you don't have to dick. You don't have to like put on a big song and dance. However, I have met people who did the same thing every day for 3 or 4 or 5 years and got like 1 or 2 viewers and nothing more, and nobody would watch. So, if you don't learn and adapt, like you will get feedback. Viewership is feedback. So if one day you got a higher viewership when you were doing one thing, and then when you do anything else, you get lower viewership, that is feedback. So stick to what you enjoy doing, but incorporate the things that cause viewership spikes because that's your audience telling you, we love this. We want to see more of this. This holds our attention. We like doing this with you. And so tailoring the things you love to do along with the things that people love to be there for, you will slowly ping pong more and more
Doing that on every
accurately.
platform.
You'll swing from one thing to another, trying things out, and then it will get more and more refined until you find your thing, and that will get you more viewership. Consistency is key, just because people should know when to turn up. People are not going to be watching your channel when you're offline, just desperately waiting for you to come back online again all day for 24 hours a day. Okay. So if you could turn up anytime, then it's not very likely that people keep returning to
High
see you.
demand.
When people already like your content, they're going to come back at the same time and see if you're there again. So the consistency isn't what gets you views, it's what gets you,
I
what
post every
keeps
day.
the views. So if you're
Oh,
not doing anything entertaining and there isn't really any reason to watch you, then consistency won't have any impact at all.
Opulent.
I've been watching you on and off for years now. I feel like you tick way less. Is that right? No, that's not right. I tick thousands of times a day. It's just that it's a fluctuating condition. So people say that to me a lot because they'll come in during a quiet period. I often lock in during conversations. I like talking to people and I'm really focused on, what I'm saying, what people are responding. Like I really lock in with these chats and that reduces my ticks. I feel calmer. Also, interruptions really set off my ticks as well. So if I have to ping my focus between lots of different things at once, I'm going to tick more often. So I feel like you might come in at a time where I'm having loads of ticks and think, oh, fuck, has your condition got worse? And I hear that. And then when I'm feeling calm and I tick less during the day, people come in and go, oh, are you cured now? Like, no, it just fluctuates.
Exactly.
Does silence trigger ticks? Not for me particularly, but I do have ticks when everything is quiet. It just doesn't influence it either way. So if you were trying to bet whether I'd have 10 ticks in a minute or 20, the sound level wouldn't necessarily be a good indicator.
Or should I listen to music? It helps. I was listening to music. I sit in
I
sound.
love gemstones. I like them too, but I tend to try and get them from charity shops now because I did some research into like how gemstones are mined, and it's actually really awful. And loads of kids die. Like for things like rose quartz, for example, a lot of it's harvested in third world
My God,
countries with low workers'
insane.
rights
That's
by
what
like 9-year-olds. I'm not even exaggerating. Little kids who are going down into unregulated mines that are just holes in the ground with regular collapses. So, if you believe in like gemstone healing and Reiki healing and all that business, a lot of those people are very much into karma and into good vibes and good energy. And it's like, how much good energy is your gemstone going to have if it's got like a little 9-year-old's blood all over it? So I do really like stones because of the geology perspective. Like the earth created this and it's beautiful and I love that. But I try not to buy gemstones or new gemstones specifically because mining them is the industry is so fucked up and there isn't really a standard for like ethically mined gemstones. You think there would be because like the hippie community and stuff is really interested in gemstones, so you think they'd be advocating for that shit. A lot of the people who fucking buy these stones are like all into their fair trade, organic, vegan stuff, like all the things surrounding like being good to people and not having a negative impact on them, but nobody's really asking for ethically traded gemstones. So like a lot of the gemstones that people buy and like cleanse their aura with and stuff and do those sorts of things with, people died for that. The people who touch that stone are gone. They lost their childhood. And even if they don't like get into any accidents or cave-ins, quite often respiratory problems and poisoning kills them. So they don't get to live to an average age because of the work that they do. Holy fuck. 85,000 kids mine quartz in Madagascar. Yep.
You can stream on Discord, right? Discover, download app. I don't know if it's on Mac. Message general. Send the first message.
I have to admit, when I'm sad, I like to watch your videos, not making fun of your condition. That is absolutely fine. It would be fucking hilarious to me, but kind of tragic if somebody was like, oh no, she's having a tic. That must be terrible. And like crying while they're watching a video of me, just offer to slap their cock and, you know, say that I'll fuck their dads. You know, if someone was sat there just like, while I was like doing all that ridiculous shit, like that would be that would be ridiculous. I don't think everyone has to be sad about the condition to be respectful of it, luckily. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't be here.
Well, I signed up the Discord for Anita's Discord, but it's a waste of time. Can't get in. Not allowed. Forbidden. Not allowed to speak to Anita. Which is really fucking annoying. I just want to say hello.
Ah! I'm getting bitten by my rabbit because I haven't loved him. He's getting pretty desperate.
She's busy.
He likes to be stroked with my foot, so I have to appease him in order to play computer games without getting pestered and bitten and pulled at. Because he pulls on my trouser leg to let me know that it's time to stop everything and give him things. And like, in order to appease him, I stroke him with my foot. Pulling for that extra treat. He is. I bet you anything he is.
Liked video. Followed. TikTok's doing really well.
It's time and he knows it. Well, to be honest with you, I probably should go.
Oh.
I've been here probably about 3 hours. Oh, I've been here 4 hours. And I've had fun having a conversation with you about kinds of stuff. Bitch, teach the kids about D, about D, about D. Yeah.
Lovely.
Pretty much. So now I'm gonna go and do the rest of my incredibly busy day. I think. But in the meantime, I can definitely raid. Oh, thank you, Sonny. Okay. So my mods, I think that's actually a really good suggestion. Hang on.
Yeah, no. I can do Instagram or I can't do Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. Right, I need to logging off, but I'm staying on Instagram, X, and I'm about to launch my TikTok stuff.
I'll kiss your tits.
I'll kiss you.
I found the perfect person to raid.
Alright, so Twitch is gone. YouTube's gone. See you later, guys. Come over to X.
Shut up.
No.